Hello and welcome to the zzE3 2018 special and possibly the last episode of zzZ for some time. I'm Tarragon, gamertag zzUrbanSpaceman, and with me today are Kirby, gamertag ChinDocta.
Hey guys.
And Alex, gamertag ProfessorPluto.
Hello everyone.
So I won't muck about here. We are here to talk about E3, and as the only person actually in residence who's watched all of the conferences, I'm going to kick it over to ChinDocta just to give us a bit of an outline of what happened and what was interesting and what was not. Take it away.
Yeah, sure. So first up on the Saturday we had E3, and it was really boring. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, the EA one?
EA, yeah, that one. Yep. Good start. Yeah. EA at E3. It was boring. Like, it was nothing really unexpected. The crowd had no energy. Command & Conquer Rivals, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I noticed there was Jedi Fallen Order on the list. Was there anything interesting about that one?
I think it was just teased or mentioned that it was being worked on. I don't remember any trailers or anything. You know, Battle Royale for Battlefield 5. What a surprise there.
Well, they're putting it in, are they?
Oh, yeah.
Battle Royale for FIFA 19.
Yeah, pretty much everything, you know.
Yep.
They're claiming Battlefront 2 won't be terrible anymore, but, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I think you had a note next to Sea of Solitude that looked pretty interesting.
Oh, God, yes. I watched this and I showed this to my girlfriend the next day. The artwork and the themes behind it, I am real excited about this. I'm not excited about EA that often, but just so it's all to do with loneliness. And once you get lonely enough, you turn into a monster. And this girl is just trying to get to wherever she needs to get to. And there are just these humanoid monsters, giant, and you're in a boat sometimes, and it's a platform. And I'm
it looked really surreal. It looked very surreal and, quite up my alley as well. Sort of an adventure into the self in some ways, I think, because most of the monsters were kind of warped versions of the main character, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
So it was really, it looked really interesting. Did you manage to have a look at it, Alex?
No, I haven't seen that, but I was interested in Battlefield 5. I've played quite a few of them. I've seen a little bit of the leaky pipes coming out with a few things before EA. It looked good, but what were your thoughts on Battlefield 5, Chin?
It's interesting. It's Battlefield again. It's World War II. For me.
Do you buy into the whole controversy over them choosing a female lead?
No, it's a game. You're going to play who I want you to play it.
Yeah,
they were never historically accurate. They were fun.
The thing is the thing about EA is they've actually come out and basically backed themselves and said, actually, this is a completely plausible situation, and women did fight on the front lines in World War II. So, go away in more expletive language. So I've got no problem with it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
and certainly half of the world's gamers are women. Why shouldn't there be women fronting these games?
The crowd logic seems to be there wasn't many, so therefore none should be in the game. Yeah,
exactly, and that's just rubbish. There are stories to tell that involve women in war. Get over it. Anyway. Off my sandbox. The other big one there is Anthem. I don't know how much interest you guys have got in it or how much you've played, say, Destiny. I am really getting a Destiny sort of vibe from this one, as it kind of has that MMO shared universe kind of thing going on.
In a good way?
But I'm kind of digging the third-person view, and I'm kind of really liking the mech side of it. Like, you've got that big sort of armor suit things that you get into.
Javelin, I think they call them.
Yeah, so that's really, it's actually quite interesting. It's probably the first time I've actually really been excited about Anthem, is just seeing that gameplay sort of footage they showed. So, I guess I'm still waiting to see, but I'm more interested in it now than certainly I was before E3. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'd be somewhat interested in it depending on how much further it gets. If it's just going to be like the, Destiny and Division and all that stuff, the community knows I don't like people. I can't stand people. I don't want to work with people. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, for me. If it's really that MMO dependent sort of gameplay.
They were saying, I was watching some of the developer chats, and they were talking about, you can actually go it alone. There's sort of the capability of doing a lot of this stuff, like as a lone wolf kind of stuff. But I think it's probably one of those games that's going to be better as a good squad. Hopefully they won't repeat the same mistakes that Destiny did and not have any kind of matchmaking for a lot of that squad stuff, particularly for the raids, because that was a fairly big critical fault there, I think. And people have to go to like third-party websites to find groups to do these things, which is just silly. But yeah, that's the failings of Destiny.
I'm interested in Anthem. I think that it has the potential to be a very good game. But I think like all good games that EA gets their hands on, they have a potential to wreck it. I think I remember reading somewhere, I think it was today on my lunch break, that they were saying Anthem won't have loot boxes. And I really want to believe that EA have learned their lesson from Battlefront 2, but I find it extraordinarily difficult that a company that has been so fond of loot boxes are all of a sudden just going to say, oh no, we don't want them.
Let's break that down, because there's loot boxes and there's microtransactions. Treat them as two separate things. They've confirmed they've actually pretty much removed all of that stuff from Battlefront 2. I don't know if you've known or if you read the big mea culpa that they did, and they've changed the entire economy in that game. And basically all of the stuff that you can get sort of from microtransactions is essentially cosmetic, and I think that's the kind of model they'll be playing with in Anthem, and you can still actually earn all of those cosmetics through gameplay as well. So I'm more inclined to believe EA. I think they really did get bit with Battlefront 2, and certainly Disney wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So I would say that they can't afford to make that mistake again. So yeah, we'll see. That I believe that they were at their word that they're not going to do that sort of thing with Anthem.
I think I'm just going to give it a bit of a wide berth until maybe a few months after it comes out, and I'll see. It does look like an interesting premise for a game. So I am interested.
Well, the problem
is
you probably don't want to skip it right at launch, because that's when you're going to get most of the people playing it. So it's sort of one of those trade-offs.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I'm a bit wary of EA.
I'll bug you about it when it comes out.
Have they said the release window?
Did they give a release date for that yet?
1 second. I wrote it down.
February 22nd. Good old
3 days
22nd.
before my birthday, okay.
Back with, what else is it? Metro Exodus, Days Gone, and Crackdown 3. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a busy day. That's like the last Friday in February, which I think there's something about the tax year for, I think it's the US tax year, might finish on like 1st of March or something. They do it at a sort of odd time relative to like Australia anyway.
Yeah.
So I've got a feeling they're just trying to sneak it in at the end of the tax year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. All right, moving on. Bethesda. Tell us about this.
I think Bethesda was probably a really big hit. I think all of the real big fans were pleased with everything that was shown. They hit their big points. They hit the Rage 2 that was leaked. They talked about all their Elder Scrolls stuff with their Elder Scrolls Online and the new mobile game, and hinted at Elder Scrolls 6. They got on about Quake, Prey, Fallout, that new Starfield game, which people are really interested because it's Skyrim in space. They put Skyrim on the Alexa. I think they did really well for their fans. But two games that Pluto was very interested in, Alex, was Doom Eternal for a start. And
yes.
Yeah, and the new Wolfenstein coming out that I think is a co-op game.
Yeah, it is. So Doom Eternal kind of seemed to me, they didn't show a whole lot of it, but it seemed to be like a continuation of Doom 2016, or I guess a reimagining kind of Doom 2. They did say in the conference they've got twice as many demons to fight, which, with Doom 2 they did have extra demons when that came out, but for me, the resounding success that was Doom that came out, it was neither here nor there on the multiplayer, but the campaign was one of the best that I've played for quite some time. I'd probably hold it pretty highly in my games of the year for 2016 at least anyway.
Yeah, it is quite highly rated. I know even Randy was
Yes, he loved it.
praising that particular game. Was probably one of the few he actually liked in the last
Sunshine
few years.
Randy, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited for that. There's a few games that we'll talk about today that there are games that I'll book days or weeks off work, some annual leave. Doom's one of them. So when that comes, I'm all over it. But yeah, the other one being Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Is that Wolfenstein a way out, or?
I don't know. Oh, look, I think
No, it's two girls this time. Is it?
Oh, I see.
I saw the name for it, and I think pretty much instantly the first thing people were saying is, "Oh my goodness, what a terrible tagline for it." It's not great, but the game looks interesting. It'd be interesting to see if this one attracts any controversy the way Battlefield 5 does with female protagonists. But introducing co-op into Wolfenstein, I feel like with Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein 2, which I've yet to play a whole lot of, man, the only thing that would make that better is to sit down with one of your friends and just, go bananas in there. So giving us that option, I mean, whether you play as female, male, or alien, I don't really care. I'm going to be another one. I'll book time off for this one probably, provided I finish Wolfenstein 2. But a co-op premise, I hope that they're not hinting at things in the story that I haven't played yet in Wolfenstein about BJ, and that's why the daughters are coming, but I'll leave that topic for another time. But it looks pretty interesting.
Says the game takes place 19 years after Wolfenstein 2. So,
okay.
I think he's just too old at that point, surely.
Well, I hope that's the case. But then
a good super soldier never dies.
They said the same thing about Marcus in Gears of War, didn't they? And
oh yeah, fair point.
Yeah, he's still kicking, but we'll get to Gears of War. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying about Bethesda. They knocked this one out of the park. Rage 2, when it leaked, was a total surprise for me. But it kind of struck me a lot like the recent Call of Duty games, like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, was that the one? And
yeah, most recent, yeah.
The one that had the sections in space, like the fast sliding movement, Black Ops 3 and 4, that kind of thing. It seems like that's what they're going for, which is quite different to Rage 1. But it looks pretty interesting. Some of the stuff that they showed in that extended trailer that was hectic.
Yeah.
You guys excited for Fallout 76?
No.
No?
I think it's exciting for the fans, but it's a game that, like I said when I was on the podcast a couple of weeks back, Fallout, it's such a huge ask, and I'm not ready for it.
It's Fallout MMO.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
It's always been one of the games. Fallout have always been one of the games that I've had on the shelf going, I should play that one day. Everybody raves about it.
Yeah. You would probably enjoy it too, but it's, hundreds of hours that you could be playing.
Elite.
I was about to say Elite Dangerous. I couldn't think of the name. Thank you. That could be your expedition time. You go on a whole expedition while you're just playing Fallout. So
that's true. I could actually, given how dull some of this stuff in Elite can get, it's almost you could have Elite on one monitor whilst playing Fallout on another one, and not be anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So actually, Elder Scrolls 6, was that? I think that was just teased.
Purely just a mountainous trailer with the title come up.
It was essentially while was it Todd Howard was walking off stage, like, we've got Elder Scrolls 6. See you later.
Yeah, it's just
that's another thing,
just to let the fans know it's coming. Yeah. Don't stress. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Alrighty, Ubisoft,
yeah,
or Ubisoft, or Weebisoft, or whatever it is.
I don't be soft, but no, Ubisoft were, I reckon, middle of the table. They hit all their normal points. They weren't as good as Bethesda. They had Just Dance. They had the Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a prequel. Yeah, new Trials game, more Division 2 stuff. The new Starlink little Toys to Life. Is that Toys? Are we going to call that Toys to Life? That's that build your own ship one. And you can swap out the parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I missed that one, but yeah.
I think it got teased last year, and I'm going to call it Toys to Life. The community can't disagree with me because there's no more podcasts to disagree on.
Quick, delete
Well, I
Discord.
can technically, but
And then the two you were interested in, Tarragon, Skull and Bones for a start. That looked amazing.
yeah, well, it's Skull and Bones seems to basically have lifted all of the pirate mechanics out of Assassin's Creed Black Flag and essentially wrapped MMO around that, and it's really looks quite interesting. So it's a bit different to, say, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is everybody's kind of the same, all the weapons are the same, and everything's pretty much standardized, and everything else is cosmetic. Skull and Bones, you sort of have specialists, like they have specialist ships that can do, like they have their special kind of tactics or moves and things like that. And yeah, just kind of squad tactics against bigger ships, and essentially it's like almost raids or strikes or whatever. So yeah, it actually looks really interesting. I mean, I want to see more, and clearly they're not ready to release it yet. And I want to know if there's actually any kind of single player stuff in it. But yeah, it does look quite interesting. And yeah, when it comes out, well, yeah, we'll know more then, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's slated for sometime next year. Most of the stuff we'll talk about is next year or, in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, it is.
Feb 22nd.
Yeah.
Transference was one that was really interesting. This looks like a sort of indie title, but it's I would hazard to say that it's kind of it's a horror,
walking sim almost, just from
horror narrative. It looks like a horror narrative kind of game. So I get the same kind of feel as, say, Get Out, or even there's a little bit of layers of fear in it. Just that kind of the stylistic kind of surprise stuff. But Get Out with the virtual sort of world that you're stuck in or trapped in. And that's really interesting. I guess the whole premise of the trailer was that basically you're a child and your father is trapping you in some kind of virtual environment, and you're suffering these horrors within that environment. So yeah, it looked really intriguing. So I'm sort of looking forward to that one coming up.
The studio partnering with Ubi to make it is, I think, founded or co-founded by Elijah Woods. So at least he knows the height of the children well in their perspective.
That's cold, man.
Harsh.
I think the short little 5-minute show they did on the Microsoft stage for Division 2 looked interesting. It was probably the first I really saw of any division. Division 1 didn't really catch my interest, but like a squad-based open world kind of shooter. I mean, no, it's not totally open world probably, but it looked interesting enough. It kind of piqued my interest. I think that'll hover on my radar for a bit.
Yeah. I guess I prefer for that sort of stuff. I think I just prefer sci-fi stuff. So if I'm going to do squad based, I'm going to veer towards Anthem rather than, say, a Division 2. I guess it gets down to preference then, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll give them props though. They had some of the best pretend in-game chatter that I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that was actually quite well scripted and acted. I'll give them that.
And I guess we better talk about the big reveal that was a little bit too early.
Was that For Honor?
Yeah, For Honor coming to PC, free to play. I think we're all excited about that.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed, the Origins, the second. Odyssey. Yeah.
We're moving closer towards Assassin's Creed being a pure RPG game.
Yeah, it really does look. It's like basically Assassin's Creed the RPG. Some of the facts were that you could basically create your own protagonist in this one, which is a bit of a change from every single Assassin's Creed beforehand.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how that's all gonna work really, as far as the world goes. But yeah, I'm intrigued. We'll see how it goes. I did like what they did with Origins in that respect. It's certainly, they made a few really bold decisions with how they went forward with Assassin's Creed Origins, and I think that really paid off. And so Odyssey just looks like a natural progression of those decisions.
What's Odyssey's release window? Is it this year?
Probably Feb 22nd.
It makes me nervous if it's this year.
Oh,
I think
I think it was October. I feel like it was October or November.
if they go back to releasing yearly Assassin's Creeds, I think that's
disappointing because I was really hoping that they would stick to like a 2-year cycle because that seemed to really do them good with Origins.
Yep.
But on the other hand, they've got bills to pay, so I guess maybe they've just got to keep pumping them out.
Yeah, no. Sure. October 5th.
Okay. Hey, that's my birthday.
Hey. Well, now that they're not getting taken over by Vivendi, maybe they can hold off on the Assassin's Creed a bit longer. Or maybe not. I don't know how that stuff works.
Maybe not.
Not rushing to push their stocks up.
They have shareholders to please, so they probably will. Moving on, Squeenix. Oh god, yeah. I'm not going to talk about this for long. It was really disappointing from a Squeenix fan. It was 30 minutes of sort of trailers and gameplay, and they didn't show anything that anyone really wanted to see. Like even at the Sony the next day, there was no Avengers stuff at all. There was no Final Fantasy VII remake, which I mean you could tease. I mean, there's a couple games in there that we'll talk about later from the Microsoft conference, but they did show gameplay from Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and my God, did that look amazing. I keep using the word amazing, but it was spectacular.
It was probably one of the first times since the first Tomb Raider that I've been interested in playing a Tomb Raider game. I think the new iteration of Lara Croft that came with... whatever the one was it last year or the year before, that gritty kind of dark reboot, I thought, oh yeah, that's interesting. And now I saw an actual extended cut for this one. I mean, it looks solid.
Yeah. Well, I would personally recommend all of them, to be honest. The original remake, the Crystal Dynamics versions of Tomb Raider have all been really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the new one. It's basically I haven't even looked at the trailer because I just know that I'm going to buy it anyway. It's kind of those games. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not really much else. I mean, Just Cause 4, some people are excited about. Just Cause 3 had a lot of buzz back in the day.
I think it was fun tethering things to each other in Just Cause, wasn't it? Yep. That was half the appeal.
Yes, it was.
I think there's weather now, which now there's 50 games with weather added.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get to more weather later on, I suppose. What's The Quiet Man all about?
It was about a minute trailer. It's not coming out on I don't think it's coming out on Xbox. It was like an FMV. It was CGI, which transitioned to FMV and then back into CGI. Some deaf guy punched minorities, and then that was it. Okay,
sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds stay tuned for more on that. All right.
Yeah, all right. Must have been quiet. So I guess we'll move on from Squeenix. The other games that we want listed there are actually were revealed first in the Microsoft conference anyway, so we'll get to them. Briefly on Sony, anything to really note there?
Lots of gameplay. I think most of the stuff they showed was about 20 minutes of gameplay. The two that really matter to us are Control, which are done by Remedy, who are the Quantum Break devs.
Yeah. I saw something about that. I thought that looked really interesting.
It basically looks like Quantum Break 2. Like, it's identical.
Yeah, I did see that one, actually. Yeah, it does look really good.
And the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I know B. Smith was happy about. Probably other people too, but the fourth Australian of the group.
How did Death Stranding take you guys?
You know what gets me about Death Stranding is that I don't buy much into the Sony versus Xbox talk. I think that Sony are leading with some of their exclusives a little more than Microsoft is. But if you ever get into an argument with a Sony fanboy, they'll be like, oh, we've got Kojima and we've got Death Stranding. And you're like, okay, so you guys sent me the trailer today.
So you have baby butts. That's great.
But it's like, what? I mean, Norman Reedus, it's hard to deny how much of a massive influence he is at the moment. But I'm not even sure that he can save this. It looks like a bit of an incoherent mess, which I think to some degree is expected.
I think that's the intention.
Yeah. But I just sat there and I watched it. I mean, you guys saw me typing on the line track. I'm like, what is this? I don't.
Yeah.
I think it was literally WTAF.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Half of the course for Kojima.
Yeah.
There was one good moment in there. There was if you've seen the trailer, he's crossing a ravine and I think he's supposed to be a delivery guy. So he's got armfuls of packages and his packages all stacked on his back.
Yes.
And I saw a beautiful tweet of that clip saying, when you're a man and you have some groceries to deliver. Or to put away.
Death Stranding.
Just one trip, that's all you need.
Yes.
Trovo Saints the Universe, even though we're not going to get on Xbox, that's the Rick and Morty creators doing that game. Right. PSVR and PS4. I mean, I imagine
they're doing that while they're not doing the next season of Rick and Morty, I see.
Yeah. So I imagine it's, the stick of truth, but Rick and Morty, that it's going to be like playing an episode of the show.
Yeah, it could be all right.
Yeah. Not enough to buy a PlayStation, but,
No, definitely not. That's the problem. That's the thing, though, is like all of the PlayStation exclusives still have never convinced me enough that I would go and buy a PlayStation to get it. You know what I mean? It's like I've got enough other games that can keep my interest.
Well, I have to say, Last of Us, the first Last of Us, I nearly went out and bought a $50 PS3 to go and play that because, I mean, it's probably no secret I'm a big fan of zombies. But it looks, I mean, everyone knows the effect that Last of Us had. Everyone wants to make another Last of Us. So Last of Us 2, I mean, I'm not about to go out and buy a PlayStation 4, but my friend's got one and he's borrowing my Xbox One at the moment. So I might just hit him up for a Contra when Last of Us Part 2 comes out. But it's one of those things like, the backlog gets there. It's like, am I going to play Last of Us Part 2 without having played Last of Us Part 1? And with all the, my collection is small, like the 30 or 40 or 50 games that I've got to play. Am I going to pick up a different console and play a game? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've got a PlayStation 3. It hasn't been turned on since I moved into this house. So it's like, yeah, and I've got, and this is including the fact that, probably my favorite games of all time are the Batman Arkham series, right? And I've got 2 stacks of the Batman Arkham series for the PlayStation just sitting there waiting to be played. And I still haven't gotten around to turning it on. So it's just, I've got other things that I want to do, like, grind endlessly silly things in Elite. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one game that turned me onto possibly wanting a PlayStation, and I wasn't excited before I watched all of the gameplay that they had, but that new Spider-Man game looks incredibly fun. Like, just the swinging mechanics look great, and the combat is Batman, and Batman had good combat.
So harking back to the original Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, I think, on the PS1. Was it back on the PS1 or PS2 back at that time?
Is that the do a little hop?
Yeah, I think so.
Just a little hop.
Yeah, which they nailed it there, and then I think they lost it a bit with the later ones, and it sounds like they've kind of getting back to what was good about those ones.
Yeah, I mean it's bright and beautiful, and just a drastic change from superhero games we've had aside from Lego stuff,
Mm. Well, here's hoping it'll eventually stop being an exclusive and come to Xbox, like most of the other exclusives seem to be doing lately, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Nintendo was pretty good. So it was, I feel like it was about an hour. The first 30 minutes were 20 odd games, and the last 3 hours were Super Smash Brothers. But highlights, the Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, people are excited for that. Super Mario Party, which would be really interesting. It's because I have a couple of friends with Switches, so there's about, if I get one, which I'm planning on, it's about 4 Switches within 5 minutes of me, so you can connect them and sort of.
Wait. You said you hate people. You lied to me.
Okay, I hate you people.
Oh, right, okay. That's fine, as long as you didn't lie.
But But yeah, no, so there's mini games where you can connect the switches in different configurations and it'll do different things. And so that was interesting to me. The obligatory Fortnite, which you still won't be able to play with PlayStation on.
But play with everyone else, just not PlayStation.
Just not PlayStation. And then
got to protect the kids.
Yeah.
God, yeah. Then they showed Overcooked 2, which is making its way to Xbox. And I watched gameplay of it about half an hour ago. They have 3 levels at the moment, sort of demoing. It looks so fun. It's the same Overcooked, but better.
Which is what you'd want from a sequel.
Oh, and online co-op, which is what we need.
Oh, online, yes.
That's the important thing,
Yep. Winner. All right, well, maybe I'll play it.
You can throw the food. So the 3 levels I saw, there was a new level to do with sushi. You're in a hot air balloon, and the fire keeping the hot air balloon is spitting out all over the place, so that's a hazard. And you were in a wizard's tower, so there were stairs that moved, and you had to go through portals to get to different areas. And
that's cool.
It was just, it looked fun, co-opable fun. Then a bunch of highlights, stuff we're not too surprised about. Minecraft, with Switch achievements.
Yep, Switch achievements.
Yeah, awesome.
I guess.
Paladins, which is apparently not dead anymore. I don't know.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Both.
So I saw it was Ark Survival Evolved, which is also odd because they've just kind of announced they're shutting down all the dedicated servers.
And they're also releasing PixArk for it, which is Ark Survival Evolved, but as Minecraft. So they're just flooding it with games now.
Yeah. The world ends with you. Yay! But,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I played the original ages ago on the DS, and loved that game. In fact, I managed to pick up a second copy, and I borrowed my my girlfriend's DS at the time because there's a thing where it'll level up some of your pins just by the whatever it's the Wi-Fi pass thing.
Yeah, Street Pass, whatever.
Street Pass, yeah. So that was back in the day.
Yeah, and Dark Souls Remastered, of course.
Yeah.
Nothing really nothing too crazy out of that bunch of highlights and stuff. But the main event, of course, was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which has convinced me to buy a Switch, so I'll definitely be getting one before it releases in December. And I know Prue and Rorker are going to get get the stuffing beaten out of them. Almost said a bleepy word. But yeah, no.
I'm surprised Prue doesn't actually already have one. Isn't there like a Pokemon game out already?
Or
is that still coming?
I think it's coming soon. They had a release date. I can't remember what it was, but that'll definitely.
22nd.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I labouring that joke too much now?
We've only got one episode. We've got to hammer it in while we can.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Alrighty. So I guess let's move on to the main course. Microsoft.
You mean Devolver, yeah?
No. No. Let's Devolver. Yeah. No. Microsoft.
Okay, Microsoft.
So your 25% chance of Halo looks like it hit the mark. It's coming.
This year? Is it this year or is it next
year? I
year?
don't think they said this year, but they showed it at E3.
Yeah.
They teased it.
Yeah. I was 100% sure they would tease it. I think my 25% was what they would release it this year.
Okay.
And that still doesn't. So that's 75. Even that's like 3-1 against. I'm pretty sure they won't release this year.
I think if they were going to release it this year, they would have showed a lot more substantial stuff. So I think you're probably right about that.
Yeah, and they typically try to release around the November kind of traditional Halo period. So I guess we'll see.
Traditional big game Microsoft release window. But I don't even think next year, honestly. I think
might be next console.
Yeah, I'm thinking with rumors of 2020 for the next console, if that launched with it, that would be a big thing.
But the other news related to that, though, is Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to Game Pass, so that'll be coming with the new 4K update, I imagine. Oh. So that's some nice news.
Jeez,
for
what's the size on that?
People who haven't got that yet.
Gigabytes on gigabytes.
The base game at the moment, I think, is about 100, so it's going to be
that's where
top of that again.
That's where that fast start comes in. They're going to calculate what you want to play first of the 6 campaigns or whatever.
Which mode? Yeah.
Have they added Reach into Master Chief Collection yet?
No.
Okay.
No, Reach is only available on backwards compat, but they've got everything else.
Fair enough. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I have to say, and I know I say this every time I see Ori, but man, that game just looks stunning. Every time I see it, it looks stunning.
Yeah. The thing I find about that game is the graphics are absolutely gorgeous. The music is on point. The story is amazing. The gameplay I get really frustrated with, and I just can't play it for very long. I think Ori is the game that really taught me that I actually really don't like hard platformers. I get too frustrated with them. I just don't want to play them anymore. I used to like platformers a lot more, but I think Ori was the last one I put any serious time into, and I just had to put it down.
Yeah, it floats around a 10 difficulty and then jumps to 112 at that tree.
The tree.
But I loved it. I've got the 1K in both versions, definitive and standard. I'm going to play this day one. No release date, sometime next year. You've got a light sword.
Feb 20.
Feb 22nd. Of course. But you've got a light sword. You've got a bow and arrow. You've got zappy stuff. Then there's an owl and there's a bone thingy
and sparkles and things and the wisps and the stuff.
And you just remember. Oh, actually, I won't say that. It's a spoiler.
Yeah.
I had a moment, but caught myself, luckily. Next up, another game I'm really interested in, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software, the Dark Souls devs. So Dark Souls as samurais.
Yeah, the gameplay trailer on this looked pretty amazing, actually. I was really quite impressed with this one. And even just the whole premise that you sort of this guy who's died and you've had your arm gets cut off right at the beginning and then it gets sort of replaced or partly grown back or something like that is pretty cool, and you sort of almost can't die. I think they show one of the boss fights at the end. You basically you get like cut down and then you come back and
that's
do that.
A new mechanic that so where you won't, and it won't happen every time, but I think you've got maybe two respawns before you will go back to a bonfire or whatever their equivalent is.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be tactical to die. You might want to die in a corner where you're not going to aggro everything in the area, and then you can deal with stuff one by one. They've revamped the combat, so there's a lot more focus on parrying rather than strafe and attack sort of deal.
Yep.
And the other big thing they changed was they added a little bit of sort of From Software stealth where enemy detection is more line of sight and sound than just sort of being close enough or hitting them. So if you get seen by a sniper, a bone sniper or whatever from across the yard, that'll probably alert enemies and stuff rather than just sort of, I got close enough where I hit him, now he gets to attack me.
Cool. Don't have much else to say about that. It did look very good though.
Yeah.
But it did look like they were just showing off essentially boss fights. I don't know if there was much else in between or if it's just basically a continuous boss fight. But either way, it'd be fine. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Now, this was a bit of an odd one to show. It's Don't Nod. So the Life is Strange devs, and it's actually set in the Life is Strange universe. And it's kind of it was actually going to be released as a free thing. And I think it's meant to be a kind of a bridge between Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2, which is still in development.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this one?
Man, I was excited. As soon as I saw the graphic style come up on the screen, I mean, I was watching this at what was it, 6 o'clock in the morning.
It's very distinctive, isn't it?
And I don't know if I woke my partner up, but I probably squealed because I wasn't expecting anything from Don't Nod. Because, I mean, Vampire just came out. I thought they might be working on some DLC for that. But yeah, that art style is very, very distinct. And when it came up, it's straight away I thought, oh my God, it's a new Life is Strange game. And, I mean, small amount of disappointment that it's not a Life is Strange game, but I have every faith in Don't Nod, their ability to tell a good story. Life is Strange proved that, and another one that even Randy liked it. So I'm not sure that we should be using that sentence to describe such high praise all the time, but he loved it. That was my game of the year for 2015, with it hands down. But I've yet to play the Before the Storm, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But man, another game set in the Life is Strange universe. I think this one was from what I remember of it, it was a story, like a coming of age kind of story for a just getting into high school age kid. You know, he's having a hard time with life, and he can escape to some sort of, I don't know if it was an alternate reality or, you know, like his special place.
His imagination.
The way they presented it was that his stories were coming to life, and I think that was just more presenting his imagination, and he was making his imagination sort of become real with, you know, some of the things that he did. Yeah. But they also hinted at a bit of a darker thing going on there. I mean, there was no mother in the picture, and it hinted that the father was basically the sole parent and not dealing with that very well. So there's a few sort of hints at where that story might be going. But looking forward to it. And definitely looking forward to Life is Strange 2.
I didn't know they'll make it.
And they've indicated, I think, in a description or an interview that some choices in this game will affect stuff in Life is Strange 2. Whether that's, you know, an Easter egg in the game or something more substantial, I don't know. But
like Clementine will remember that.
Yeah. Who knows how much longer, though.
That's true. They're going for their last season, aren't they? Walking Dead. Crackdown 3. Anybody excited about that?
I think this might be
more excited than I was.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I saw the Terry Crews kind of trailer last E3. Yeah. I was like, but I watched this one and, you know, it actually looks like it might be kind of cool.
Was it actually last E3 that Terry Crews did that, or was it the one before? Because I thought there was there was a complete absence of Crackdown 3 at last E3, which was really notable. And then anyway.
But actually,
this is one of the ones. This is one that's legitimately been pushed out to Feb 22nd as it happens.
Yeah,
it looks interesting. For someone who hasn't played Crackdown 2 or Crackdown 1, I think Crackdown 2 was Games with Gold. Still haven't played it. It looks good. And especially if you get to play as Terry Crews, I mean, he's a straight up G. So I don't know that I'll buy it, but it's on my radar.
Yeah, I suspect they'd do well if they bundled a Halo Infinite beta code with it as well.
Yeah. Not shady practices at all. Not inflated sales numbers for that. No, definitely not.
Of course not. Kirby, you want to grab this one?
Yeah. Near a tomato.
A tomato.
Yeah, near a tomato. I think I've spilled enough about this in the Discord, but if you like JRPGs, if you like RPGs in general, if you enjoy fun, get this game, please. June 26th, same day as the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, but it'll probably take you a bit longer. Do all 3.5 playthroughs to get the endings that you need to understand the story properly. Do it, please. Buy those achievements with your in-game currency afterwards. That's fine. I assume the achievement store will still be there. So This
funny. This game was raved about on every single podcast that I listened to that talked about gaming, and it was always just like, yeah, that's that game I'll never play because it's on the other platform, so I just don't care. So now that it's coming to Xbox, okay, it's now on my radar. So yeah, I probably will pick this up. I don't know if it'll be on release though, just depending on my backlog on what else is going on the day.
I've done the carnal sin of pre-ordering.
Does it even have a release date yet?
Actually,
June 26th.
Oh right, you did just say
2
that.
weeks.
Yeah. Man, that's 6 months away.
Is it only? Wow, it's really, really.
June.
I'm thinking next year. No, don't mind me. You keep talking about the Near Tomatoes.
Where the what on earth?
Speaking of next
June
year.
26 is like, it's like less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yep. Moving on.
Speaking of next year, Metro Exodus, another February 22nd.
Legitimate?
Yeah. It looked good. It looked Metro.
It actually looks gorgeous, actually. I haven't played the Metro games, so I don't really I'm not into that universe. And I would sort of never really have been. It's never really drawn me in. But the game, it just looks gorgeous. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, I agree. The other games haven't really dragged me in either, but this one, another one that you go, oh yeah, you're on my radar. It looks pretty solid from everything they showed, but I think I might wait and see, like you said, what's happening with the backlog and what's happening with everything else, because it's looking pretty busy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's kind of like we've got Anthem, we've got Metro Exodus, we've got Crackdown 3, and what was the other one coming out on February 22nd?
Days Gone, but that's a PlayStation.
Right. The thing is that out of those, I would probably pick up Anthem. It's just certainly Metro Exodus would kind of be third on my list just because I'm not really into that universe. And Crackdown 3, I'm not actually really sold on it, to be honest. Crackdown 2 didn't do a lot for me. I played a lot of Crackdown 1, and I think that was just a bit of a sleeper hit because I was one of those people who picked it up because of the Halo link there with the beta. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Crackdown 3 is going to be quite good enough to beat out an Anthem.
Yeah. All right. Next up is me again, of course. Everyone's favorite, Kingdom Hearts 3. No one's going to understand the story. I probably won't even understand the story. I
don't think the writers understand the story.
I'm really disappointed that they're not releasing the remastered all-togethers for Xbox. I wasn't expecting it, but it would have been nice because it's one of those games where the story does matter and there's going to be a lot of plot and talking, and you're just going to go what because you've not played it.
Yep.
But they showed off new worlds that hadn't been announced before. They showed off the Frozen world. They showed off that we're going back to the Pirates of the Caribbean in a different trailer. They've shown a ton of gameplay.
They showed the Toy Story world, I think.
Toy Story, Monsters Inc. was in there. The Tangled.
Yep. Tell me about Kingdom Hearts. Why is it Sora is the main character, right? Why Correct. Is it for all the Disney characters in that universe, why does he hang around with Goofy and, is it Donald Duck?
Okay, so in the very first game...
Well, let me tell you a story.
In the very first game, long story short, King Mickey disappears because he's searching for the doo-wacky, whatever it is in the games.
Is that the Keyblade?
It's King. I think he's searching for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, off the top of my head, which I'm not going to go into because there's about 4 games worth of stuff you need to play to understand Kingdom Hearts, the actual object.
I can probably recommend a book to read. There's somebody who's written a book about it.
And basically, Donald and Goofy are like his knights. So he says, "Hey, go help out this guy," and so they do. Yeah,
fair enough. I feel like that they could have picked better characters, but that's coming from someone who doesn't know much about Kingdom Hearts.
In each of the worlds you go to, you can use that person as a replacement. So when you go to Tarzan's world, you can swap out Donald or Goofy with Tarzan just for that world. And but in the first game, it was a terrible idea because your party didn't level up when they weren't in the party. So you'd get Donald back and he'd be level 10. And you're like, okay, cool. These are level 30 guys. You're not going to be much use. Looks like I'm swapping you out again.
All right.
But no. Moving on, though.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun with Kingdom Hearts. I got right up to the last bit of Kingdom Hearts and never quite pulled the trigger on the end. It was just one of those, I'm there, and then I didn't.
Up to that
something else came up.
Boss fight sequence.
Yeah, and so I didn't quite get the end. Kingdom Hearts 2, I think I played a bit of as well, but I think I was just getting out of my PlayStation era at that point. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really happy that it's coming to Xbox and that we get a chance to play it on our console of choice.
Do you think they'll feature Let It Go in the game? Because they focused a lot on Frozen in that trailer.
Probably.
It's got to be like a summon song or something where you can summon Elsa
and you have to listen to the whole thing.
And you get an achievement for listening to it 12 times.
No skipping.
I think that if I would play Kingdom Hearts 3 if I could smack Olaf around with the Keyblade.
Yeah, probably. They might do a recap of the last 20 years of Kingdom Hearts for you at the start.
That's going to be like a 2-hour intro then.
Kojima style.
But that's 29th of January next year, so it got pushed back a little, but it can't be pushed back further to February 22nd.
Got almost a month to finish it before Anthem comes out.
And the Australia Day hangovers will have worn off by then.
And those other games. Yeah.
All right. Tarragon, this is you.
Is it?
More than the rest of us.
Yeah, I was way happy for you. I think Alex actually wanted to look at this one. Did you?
We happy for you. Yeah, I think I mentioned this briefly when I was on the podcast as well. Not particularly happy that it's been refused classification in Australia, which is odd because it's been able to be purchased in the preview program for, 6 months, 12 months, however long it's been in preview. But it just seems like such an interesting premise to a game. And I feel like it has a lot of parallels with real life at times. Not that people take drugs every single day. Well, there are people that take drugs every single day to feel happy, but not the vast majority of people, despite what the news in Melbourne will try and tell you. But it just looks like such a fascinating game. I reckon I'll pick this up. Maybe not straight away because I've got so many games to play, but it's definitely going to get picked up and played. I've been looking forward to a full release for a while.
Yeah, I bought it in the preview program and played it briefly very early in its dev life, but haven't sort of gone back to it. But I think the preview version is actually US only, so maybe it's when you switch your console over. I'm not sure you can get it in Australia. It'll be interesting to see whether they get past the ratings board, because I think the ratings board will have picked them up on one of their clauses, which is that drugs can't be shown in a way that provides a benefit. That's just one of the particular conditions in our ratings. And we're happy if you, even though technically it is an integral part of the story and it's not really what it's about. I think that's the argument they're trying to make. They've certainly appealed it, but I guess we'll see. But the art style in it's really interesting. The kind of Orwellian feel that it has, and the everybody should be smiling kind of view. It's almost got a little bit of
Yes,
Bioshock,
I was just about to say that.
Feel as
it
well.
Reminds me of Bioshock Infinite a lot of the look.
Yeah. So it's got that kind of feel. So I'm really looking forward to its release. That's August 10. So that's going to be a good one. Just coming out in time to beat Red Dead Redemption 2, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, a couple of other game announcements. That Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition. It looks interesting. I never played the first one, but certainly do love my animated games.
So this is more, it's a JRPG, isn't it?
That's what I meant.
Yep.
All games are animated, Chin.
Technically, except for the real motion video. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
I
coffee yet?
I know that I think it's like you're not out of tutorials until you're like 50 hours in or something.
That's a traditional JRPG.
Yeah, which sounds about right, but looks interesting. I'll pick it up eventually, probably on sale, but...
Yeah, same here. If I can be bothered, I've still got another 7 JRPGs on my shelf waiting to be played that I haven't got around to yet.
Yeah, just don't have those 200 hours to put aside for it,
Yeah, Eternal Sonata is one. I've been sort of looked at and went, yeah, that probably looks really interesting, but I just time.
Then they had the Division gameplay, which we've spoken about. And then the ID at Xbox montage, which is briefly
montage.
There was Outer Wilds, which we all got in mixed pot, hopefully.
Hope so.
Yep.
We've got to check that.
There was Below and Ashen, I think, were the only two games that they had shown at the last montage. I think everything else was new.
So Super Meat Boy Forever we knew was coming.
Yeah.
Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Yeah. Children of Morta we knew. Dead Cells we knew, which I know many of the community are looking forward to. Nothing really else stands out. The one Battle Royale game from Microsoft was in there, Islands of Nine. It looked fairly standard Battle Royale. Look, I don't know what else you want to say about that,
Islands of Nine. Is that like 9 people have a Battle Royale? Anyway.
All right, and then the montage was done.
Yep.
And then the biggest troll of the E3.
Yes.
Just low angle, swearing, sort of thing. You hear the sound of the wheels, you see some skateboards, the hype goes crazy for a bit longer, and then Sessions comes on screen.
Yeah, I think it's just Session, and so everybody was expecting Skate 4, which I think it probably actually really is. It's just they've called it something different. But
with the Skate 2 and 3 servers coming back online in the past week, it just added that fuel to the trolley fire, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you reckon they picked a different name? Or do you reckon it is just like a totally different beast? Or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the Skate games, so...
And does anybody here actually care? Because I'm not really sure I care that
unfortunately much. Not. Maybe they're just trying to get away from that Skate 4 pressure and expectations. I mean, it's still going to be applied regardless, but the logic was maybe we could not have all that pressure.
I think that skateboarding for me died when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 failed to be anything. I was so interested in playing that, and then when I heard that the day one patch was bigger than the actual game, I don't know, the writing was on the wall for me then. And now, I mean, Session, I have no doubt the Session will be made better considering the bar is so low, but it doesn't really have that much in the way of competition. I don't think there's many real skateboarding games that are out at the moment apart from Tony Hawk's. I mean, I could be not remembering, but at least it's going to stand alone in its field, I suppose.
Oh, there's Ollie Ollie.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think at least if it's a halfway decent game, I think it should be a moderate success at least. Hopefully.
Well, let's move on. Cuphead. So a lot of people were asking whether this was like a brand new game or not. What do you guys think?
Delicious last course kind of speaks for itself.
It wouldn't be like DLC or anything. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
coincidence.
It's probably DLC. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for the game. I think enough time's passed since the game came out that enough people have passed it and they're ready for a bit more if they liked it. And I think it might entice a few new people to come into it.
Did either of you play Cuphead much? I know I spent maybe an hour in it, but...
Yeah, I actually picked it up on sale. It was like last week it was on sale. So yeah, I played a bit of it. Yeah, art style's gorgeous. Everything about the style of it's gorgeous. But it is really a big boss fight kind of game, and which I don't think. Like I started the game off and just played on normal. I didn't play into the easy mode or anything like that. So it didn't seem like the very first sort of boss fight didn't really strike me as super difficult. But I imagine it gets much harder.
I think you might be better at the game than me because I played it at E3 and I ran through the first level about 3 times and I didn't make it to the boss. So kind of extraordinarily difficult games are not really my forte. But I mean, from what I played, it seems like a really, really fun game. But maybe if there was just a very easy mode for average players like myself, and there may well be, maybe I was on easy mode. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's normal.
As another podcast says, baby ass baby mode.
Yep, that's what I needed for Cuphead. But I agree. I think it deserves all the praise that it's getting because it kind of stands up there for me as guys that started something and really finished it as a labour of love, the same way that Unravel did. Kind of same, but different. But
yeah, I think Cuphead was by far more successful than Unravel. So Unravel had some interesting mechanics, and the way that they told the story was interesting. They kind of used that to tell a kind of a family narrative, I guess. But Cuphead is it's kind of a classic run and gun kind of game. Difficult run and gun kind of game with, big boss fights. But just sticking really true to it's like the 1930s cartoon style or 40s or whatever it is. And just throughout, and it's just amazing, and the whole thing's hand drawn. They deserved all the accolades they got for that.
Now, and I asked about you playing it because do you remember if there was a double jump in the game? Because I played it so long ago, I can't remember. I know there was the parry, but was there a proper double jump?
I don't think so. There's a jump and a dash.
Yeah, because the new DLC character that they showed, that Chalice, right at the end as the camera zoomed out during the conference, did a double jump. Which
I think the parry is how you get the extra length on a bunch of things. So
I couldn't remember if it was that parry move or an actual double jump, and that's why they added the new character, and that's why they spent so long to make sure she didn't break the other bosses by making them too easy.
Interesting. Did Jump Force catch anyone's eye? I'm not really sure what to make of that.
Yeah, it seems like an odd crossover.
Yeah. It's been done before on PlayStation. Like a J-Stars battle. It depends on the roster for me. I mean, it's going to fight like any of the other anime fighters that we've had on Xbox. If they have a good roster, then that'll sell it.
Seems, for me, I mean, I've watched Dragon Ball Z. I've almost watched the entirety of it, but it seems like such an odd combination for me. I've only watched a small amount of... It's Naruto and One Piece that are the other two animes in that game, right?
Yeah, and a Death Note teaser right at the end.
Well. Okay. It seems like me, and this might be my bias towards Dragon Ball Z, but I think Goku would kick the stuffing out of all of them. But that might just, I said, might just be my bias towards it. It came up in an interview with them that they had a lot of trouble trying to balance things in a way so that fans of any particular manga would not get upset at them. Okay, yeah. I imagine they would have great difficulty with that.
It's funny. They had to do similar things with what's the
Marvel vs. Capcom? Oh.
No, the
Injustice.
Injustice. They had to do the same thing with the Injustice world, because of course, obviously, you have a fight between Green Arrow and Superman. I mean, obviously, Superman's going to win. It's just. But to kind of balance it out, they had this conceit with the entire universe that basically there were these pills that could essentially make anybody into a superpowered person, like temporarily. So that's how they kind of got around this balancing of all the characters. I'm not sure they can quite do the same thing in Jump Force, but it was an interesting workaround. Well, it's
in that safe game. To say Jump Force, I won't be playing at those fighter games there. Yeah, I'm not real good at them. Give me Brian Fury and Tekken, and that's really about all I'm up for. But the next game on our list, Dying Light 2. Now, I mentioned earlier games I'm going to take a week off work for. Dying Light 2 is one of them. When Dying Light 1 came out, I had high hopes that it was going to be the sequel to Dead Island that everyone except me wanted, and I wasn't disappointed. I say that because I love Dead Island and Riptide, and I'm still looking forward to Dead Island 2, but Dying Light was a much more polished game. The story, there was actual story, not delivered by Americans faking Australian accents and talking like, oh, cool, mate, let's get this one done. No, there wasn't any of that in Dying Light 2. And the parkour addition to it, I mean, it seemed a bit shoehorned in, like, oh, you just happen to be a parkour instructor. But it actually worked really well, traversing the buildings in the game as a way to, kind of get safe from time to time. But it was fantastic. I'm not sure where the story's going from Dying Light 2. Did either of you guys play it? Dying Light 1?
No, Dying Light was always on my list of, I should play this because the premise looks really interesting, but I just never got round to it. And I don't think it's ever gone on sale at the right time or the right price for me to kind of pick it up.
Sounds like every game for you.
Yeah, pretty much. So unfortunately it fell to the sideline. But it was always interesting to me. Too many games.
Yeah. So I played it. It was good. I just don't like weapon durability in games.
Yeah, that is frustrating. But you do get to the point where you have so much in the way of supplies that it's really a minor inconvenience if it's anything like the first game.
Yeah.
The thing that Dying Light I think did well, is that even when you hit max level, it was still a risk to go out at night when the volatiles were chasing you. They would just tear you apart, and really your only option was to run. So it's still, there are games where you hit max level and, so whatever, I'm just swatting away these flies. But, yeah.
Yep, Dead Rising.
But, man, and the story in that game, I really enjoyed it. Suffice to say, I mean, I wasn't much for the ending, but the rest of the story was, pretty solid. And, I didn't find a lot of things shoehorned in like when you come across something like, oh, conveniently, I just happened to come across this thing that I need. It felt a little more organic than things I'd played in recent times. But yeah, I'll take a week off for this. I better put my annual leave in whenever that release window is. Feb 22nd, right? Yep. All right. That's
Probably,
good.
yeah.
I'll just say it's for my birthday and they'll be like, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I think another one on your list there.
Oh,
Alex,
yes. Battletoads. Man. I know Elroy played a lot of Battletoads recently for his RTDL, but I've been wondering when Battletoads was going to pop up because it's Rare that owns Battletoads, and Microsoft now own Rare, and I'm sure either of you can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But Battletoads has been such a thing, even though the game is, I think, from the 90s. It was such a good game. It was so hard.
Well, that's
memed
debatable
it.
as to whether it was,
been a meme in
actually a
recent
good
times
game.
Where I think it was
Yep.
the show from American Porn or Hardcore Porn, and that's PAWN for those playing along at home, would get calls saying, have you got Battletoads? And they basically had to hang up on a lot of people because they were just memeing it. I think they appeared in Sea of Thieves recently. There was a Battletoads Easter egg. So maybe I've been following a trail of breadcrumbs that isn't there in the hopes that Battletoads would come back. But I will buy this. This is getting bought, and I am playing it.
And they're in Killer Instinct as well. So
man, I need to play that. I loved Battletoads back in the day. I've just got such fond memories of sitting around the Nintendo. I never owned a Nintendo, but I'd go to my friend's house just to play Battletoads. Yeah, I don't think I ever finished it, but
yeah, I don't think anybody.
You're not wrong.
It.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm a bit surprised you didn't mark down any interest in the Gears Pop Tactics thing.
Yes, I am.
Because you're a
For
pop
those
collector.
of you who've hopped on my YouTube channel, you'll have seen my background of pop vinyls. The thing about pop vinyls is there's so many different lines that I would collect if I had the space. But at the moment, my fiance collects Harry Potter. We don't have enough room for that. I'm about halfway through Dragon Ball Z. I don't have enough room for that. they keep releasing more Walking Dead. Surprise, I don't have room for that. I actually had 2 of the special edition Gears of War Marcus Phoenix pops. They're solid, but I mean, I just don't have room for them.
Yes, but what about the game? What about
Gears
the game?
No, Gears Pop is a mobile game, iOS and
I
Android.
thought that was Gears Tactics. Gears Pop is related to the pop vinyls.
No.
See,
No, there's a game.
Is that what that was? I thought it was just an ad for new pop vinyls.
Yep.
No.
Nope, it's
both.
actually a game.
Oh,
It's
well,
probably
safe to say it
both.
made a pretty good impression on me then, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And Tactics was its
What
own.
did you guys
Windows
think
10
of
thing.
Tactics?
It's kind of Halo Wars in the Gears universe, and I've never really gotten to Halo Wars, so didn't really do a lot for me. But
Yeah,
what about you guys?
I agree. Those real-time strategy or turn-based strategy games, not really my thing. I think it'll be interesting for the right person. I'm just not that person.
I'm not sure it'd be interesting for the right person. I just don't think any. I don't know who was asking for this, or who was like, yes, this is my showstopper right here. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they're out there.
One person.
Yeah, maybe 2. Be lining up on Feb 22nd to buy it.
Well, Gears of War 5 is the next one that we've got on our list, and that was one that I wanted to talk about. Having not played Gears of War 4 campaign yet, it's interesting seeing the trailer for that. I think out of the first 3 Gears of War games, the most interesting point that I don't really think was ever explained is why Queen Mira of the Locust appeared to be human. And when what's that girl's name? Kira, is it? From Kate?
Kate.
When she held up that Locust necklace, the first thing that said to me was, I wonder if she's Mira's daughter. And before she held up that necklace, I was like, who asked for Gears 5? Because we're all just complaining about how many achievements there are in Gears of War 4, and now you want to put out a 5th game. No one's missing you, mate. But then when they pulled that out, I was like, maybe I'll eat my words, because that's interesting. That's an interesting way to go. It seemed like Marcus totted off with her as well. So, I mean, more Marcus Phoenix is good. So, I'm interested to see where it is. I might be barking up the wrong tree again, but interested to see where that goes, definitely.
Cool.
Yes, I too follow all of those thoughts exactly as you said them. Exactly. That's that shooty game.
I
right?
agree.
That's all of those
precisely.
things. All right, well, let's hop on to Cyberpunk 2077 then.
I
thought we were going to end it and then...
Cyberpunk 2077. That looks amazing. I can't wait for this. The CD Projekt Red, like Witcher 3, has been all over the place as kind of people's top-rated game ever. And the thing is that sort of setting didn't really grab me, but Cyberpunk will grab me, and this is going to be a day one purchase for me, absolutely, when it comes out. Maybe Feb 22nd.
You might have to wait for some international postage, because it seems like the themes in that will stop it getting rated appropriately in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, we didn't really see a lot in the way of gameplay. It was more just a kind of cinematic trailer. But the world, and I mean, I've been interested in Cyberpunk since, I've read, early William Gibson and was involved in that sort of beginnings of that kind of stuff. And I mean, obviously that goes back further with Philip K. Dick and whatnot. But yeah, just the William Gibson era, the Matrix era of that kind of style of thing. And even the role-playing game, I used to play the role-playing game. The Cyberpunk sort of universe is really interesting to me. So having a game by a quality studio like this is really exciting to me. So yeah,
I think
can't
it looked interesting enough to pique my interest. It looked a lot to me like Watch Dogs 2. And I don't want to draw a negative comparison because I haven't played Watch Dogs 2 to not like it, but it looked kind of like that futuristic, sort of dystopian. I don't know that that's the right word I'm thinking of, but
dystopia. Dystopia,
like
right.
So, if you have a game in,
I would say Watch Dogs was probably set more in near reality, whereas Cyberpunk is basically future reality, where a lot of cybernetics and there's a lot more going on. I think as far as
kind
the
of
tech
like
goes,
Deus Ex, maybe,
comparing it
like that.
to much closer to that. So it'd be more in that kind of line than Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs 2, incidentally, got great reviews. It was actually considered to be much, much better than the original, certainly, and the storyline was really highly rated. So
it's good. You just picked that up on the sale.
Yeah, so definitely a good game. And Cyberpunk is going. I'm certain it's going to be a good game. And can't wait.
Looking forward to it. I think they've grain of salt because nothing official announced, but I think they've hinted roughly June next year. So not too far away.
But I'm pretty sure they're also the kind of studio that goes, it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
So, which you can certainly appreciate. So, it's almost certainly going to get pushed back to polish it up, kind of like what Rockstar does. I guess sort of go into some of the other things that happened. So Game Pass Fast Start was announced, which I think we sort of briefly touched on earlier. This will apparently allow you to start games that are on Game Pass up to twice as fast. So I guess that's good.
I think they're bringing it to the whole
slightly dubious, but maybe. I guess they mentioned it in light of Game Pass. They actually had the Game Pass woman, I forget her name, come out and announce it. So I guess we'll see, but that might also apply to previous catalog that might not have been set up to actually do this kind of early start stuff. Yeah,
so it's all machine learning, so it'll see what files are being accessed when you start a campaign, and it'll prioritize those. I think it's only a few select titles. They haven't specified what, obviously, but select titles being rolled out in the June Insider update, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. Highlights, lowlights, or was there other things wanted to touch on? I guess the 5 new first-party studios, that was huge news.
That was big.
Did you want to talk about that, Alex?
I mean, for the last 12 months, since E3, all anyone has said on any side of the fence is, Microsoft, you need some games. I think that the purchase of these studios probably should have happened around E3 last year so that they might have something new to show this year. But, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. I am so excited that they've got these because they've picked 5 of the best kind of, four. They've picked 4 of the best kind of studios going around in that mid-tier, I think, that AA kind of space. I think it's fair to say State of Decay is a AA kind of title. Forza is, I guess, AAA. Hellblade, I'd say, is probably AA.
Yeah. But niche.
Hellblade, I'd consider it's kind of an indie AAA.
It's triple I.
It doesn't have the marketing behind it, but it has the quality. So
polish,
it's
I think that was the biggest surprise was Team Ninja. Ninja Theory. Which one?
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory. One of the two.
And that one was just like I just yelled aloud when the one's like because I really like that studio, and pairing it with Microsoft I think will be really good for them. And I was a bit surprised about Compulsion Games as well. So which is the We Happy Few dev. But I guess the other one there is the new studio which is being created called The Initiative. That's headed by a former head of Crystal Dynamics, which is the Tomb Raider reboots.
Oh wow!
So that's got some good pedigree there. So we'll wait and see what comes on that. Apparently they're already working on a game. So
I think I saw somewhere that like the talent pool that the area that they're located, Santa Monica, I think they mentioned that they said they were, is sort of the area where they got people to work on God of War and those PlayStation exclusives that have gotten so much praise that talent pool is what they're trying to draw from.
Mm-hmm.
So onwards and upwards.
Yep. So I think that is my biggest highlight of the show. I think was the 5 new first-party studios for Xbox. It's certainly,
it was very impressive, and it makes me really excited for the future. Normally, the community knows I'm indie. AAA doesn't do anything for me, but this, I see good things in what Microsoft can now produce.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty positive, actually, for a change. It's been always ends up at the end of E3 going, yeah, but they haven't got any first party. Yeah, but they haven't got any exclusives. Yeah, but which is really annoying. But this, I think they've
I think it wasn't really a surprise that they acquired Undead Labs and Playground Games, but it's still
that seemed inevitable. But the other two were big surprises.
Yeah, like you. I mean, I reckon it was about 7 a.m. on, was that Saturday morning that was on? And we were just like, was it Monday? The public holiday Monday, that's why. But just, Monday, man, like Ninja Theory, if they make a game anywhere near as good as Hellblade.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was expletive, I think was what came out of my
I think I worked something up about that time as well. But, yeah, for me, I agree wholeheartedly. The biggest, the thing I was most happy about from E3 was the 5 new first-party studios.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't really like ending on a low, but the just the things that were missing or the things that we didn't really see, which was and we still haven't seen the no Elite controller refresh, which was a bit of a surprise. That had been hinted at for ages, going back to months ago. The avatars, which were so prominent last E3, they showed those off during during the presentation.
Dropping little stories.
But they haven't appeared. They haven't appeared for insiders, I don't think, or maybe the alpha ring might have it. But haven't really seen a lot of that, and it's I'm just kind of wondering what's the delay. I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And gratuitous baby butts was my other highlight there.
I'm not sure there's a context that baby butt makes any sense, but yeah.
There isn't.
Not from that trailer, no. It's there for the shock factor.
This is how we do something really weird.
That's how you Kojima.
Yeah. So, I was a little disappointed that there was no focus, like, at all on the Xbox adaptive controllers. Yes. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Like, they had... I noticed one of the guys playing Forza was using
I saw
it,
that too.
It was 10 seconds on screen and off. So I'm disappointed that didn't get a little bit more attention, because I think that's a huge move by Microsoft. And I know they're pushing to get it on Sony and Switch as well, just, to allow more people to game, which is the best thing. But a good thing from all of E3 was there were only 2 Battle Royale games or announcements. That's it. I was expecting a flood and everyone was going to do it. We only had 2, and that's so good because trend chasing does not work. There's 2 big players in that space, and they pretty much dominate the space. So getting into it, you already have to have a big franchise, I think, which is why they're kind of adding it to the likes of the Call of Duties and the Battlefields. Yeah.
But coming as a brand new IP in the Battle Royale space is going to be pretty tough.
Dropping the ocean.
We've got Realm Royale that's just come out, I think, on PC. It's really big with streaming at the moment, but
apparently
that's the Paladin devs.
The Paladin game that's not quite dead.
No. And actually, that looked sort of interesting to me because it has classes, which I would love to play a support in a Battle Royale squad game, because I love playing support. Which is weird because I hate people.
Should play some Battlefield sometime, maybe when Battlefield 5 comes out, right?
Yeah. I want them to know they need me,
If I wasn't here...
You would be so dead, probably.
Well, I guess on that bombshell, we can probably wrap up.
There was
the show.
one other thing. Yeah.
Any
the
last
thing that's been
words?
getting me, I actually just added this in after we opened up the notes, so you might not have seen it, but I'm not sure who's publishing it, but I know, can't remember the developers from Payday 2 making Overkill's The Walking Dead. They'd been teasing for the past couple of months, you know, 4 intro videos for characters. They had a teaser just before E3. I thought somewhere it might pop up on someone's stage. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed they didn't show anything of Overkill's The Walking Dead. It's another one that I'm going to take some time off work for. So I think work just need to be okay with me not being there for the next 18 months. But man, it's November this year. It would have been prime for a showing at E3. Show it in June, get people excited.
Yeah,
it's coming out in, a few months. But yeah, it was conspicuous absence for me.
Yeah, I wonder if that means they might push it back
to February 22nd, probably.
Because it seems everybody's trying to push things away from Red Dead Redemption.
And their horse cart boxes. Yep.
So just a hint there, Alex, the developer is kind of in the name. It's Overkill Software.
Oh, yeah, it is too.
That makes sense. Being it's their Walking Dead.
That's what happens when you find zombies. You go into Overkill mode, but no, you are right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. That's actually a quite nice roundup, 1 hour and a half of E3. This is basically the last episode of Z2Z for the foreseeable future. I think there will still be some segments that will be airing separately, such as a Review Z and others. But for now, this is goodbye from Z2Z. Thank you for listening. Good on behalf of myself and Alex and Kirby. I will say goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.